The dying tiger begged for help, and then something shocking happened. Animals often have an amazing ability to sense who can be trusted and who cannot. The dying tiger begged for help, and what happened next is truly incredible. Kevin lived alone in a small house deep in the wilderness, far from any city. During winter, heavy snowfalls often left him completely isolated. On one particularly frosty day, a loud knock at the door startled him. Wary of potential danger, Kevin grabbed his old gun for protection. Encounters with wild animals or poachers in the wilderness were not uncommon. As he cautiously opened the door, a deep, resonant growl greeted him. It was unmistakably the growl of a tiger, and judging by its intensity, the animal was enormous. Kevin quickly retreated into the house, but when he glanced out the window, he was met with a startling sight. A massive tiger lay in the snow not far from his home, moaning in pain. The creature seemed barely able to stand, struggling even to lift its head. Kevin's heart tightened with pity for the suffering animal. Kevin frantically called shelters and rescue services, pleading for assistance, but most were unable to respond due to the heavy snowfalls and blizzards. Only one nearby rescue center agreed to send a team, but they estimated it would take at least an hour to reach Kevin's house. Meanwhile, the tiger appeared to be in urgent need of immediate help. Kevin decided to try to somehow help the animal while the rescue team was on its way. He opened the window and threw a piece of meat to the predator, but the beast didn't even pay attention to it. Then Kevin poured a bottle of water right on the snow next to the tiger. The predator raised his head, took a couple of sips, but then spat out the water with a groan and dropped his head back onto the snow. It seemed that even such a small effort had completely exhausted him. Finally, an hour later, a rescue truck drove into the yard, but their arrival clearly did not please the dying tiger. Hearing the noise, he tried to rise to his paws, but again fell exhausted into the snow. When the tiger was surrounded by people, the animal panicked. Usually, wounded and weakened animals pose the greatest danger, but this time, the tiger was too exhausted to resist. The team had to use tranquilizers to immobilize the predator. As soon as the tiger passed out, he was carefully examined. Kevin joined the rescuers and saw a big old scar on the tiger's paw. And then Kevin suddenly understood why the tiger came straight to his house. After all, they had known each other for a long time. About 3 years ago, Kevin's old pet dog had run away into the forest. When Kevin went in search of her, the pet led him to a tiny, helpless tiger cub stuck in a trap left by poachers. The cub's paw was severely injured due to the trap. There was no sign of the mother tigress, who had apparently been forced to abandon her injured cub, believing it had no chance of survival in the wild. Kevin carefully freed the tiger cub from the trap and took it to his home. He named the cub Ozzy and for several days cared for him on his own, following the advice of veterinarians on the care and feeding of the tiny predator. Despite the serious injury, thanks to Kevin's care, Ozzy was able to survive and gradually became stronger. When spring came, Ozzy was born. Ozzy began to leave Kevin's house and walk in the woods more and more often. One day he did not return at all, seeming to have finally joined his wild relatives. But over the next few years, the tiger sometimes appeared briefly near Kevin's house, although he kept a considerable distance away, without showing the slightest aggression. For 2 years before the present events, Kevin was already beginning to worry that something had happened to his old furry friend. And now the rescue team examined the weakened tiger and finally found out the reason for his deplorable condition. Ozzy was severely emaciated and his teeth were seriously infected. It looks like he had a brutal fight with a rival while defending his territory or was injured during a hunt. Judging by the size and extent of the infection, the tiger required urgent treatment. The team decided to take Ozzy to a rescue center and try to treat the infection. People managed to load the unconscious animal into the back of a truck, and they hit the road. Kevin was glad that Ozzy would receive expert care, but at the same time, the man was saddened that this time he would not be able to care for his old friend. The next day, Kevin called the rescue center and learned that veterinarians had removed Ozzy's abscess and started him on intensive antibiotic treatment. However, a few more days passed when Kevin received a call from the rescue center with shocking news. Ozzy had somehow broken out of his cage and escaped to freedom. The tiger found himself in the wild, in unfamiliar territory, near a small town where people lived. Rescuers warned the population of the danger and immediately began searching for the escaped predator. The situation was very dangerous because, weakened by a serious infection, Ozzy could accidentally stumble upon unsuspecting people or fall into the trap of poachers. The team combed the surrounding area, setting traps and beacons to track the tiger's movements. Several days passed, but the search did not yield any results. Finally, a farmer living near the town reported that he had spotted a tiger on the outskirts of his property. The team immediately set out to catch the predator and found it in the forest near the farm. Luckily, rescuers were able to tranquilize the tiger using a tranquilizer dart. The team cordoned off the surrounding area and began loading the unconscious animal into a special van. Back at the rescue center, the weary but satisfied team was met with relief and support from the staff, who were ready to continue Ozzy's rehabilitation. The tiger was placed in a secure, spacious enclosure equipped with essential medical equipment. His recovery was slow but steady, with noticeable improvements in his health each day. The day finally arrived when the team decided Ozzy was ready to return to the wild. They transported him deep into the forest, a place where he could truly belong. As the tiger slowly made its way toward the dense thickets, the rescuers watched with joy, knowing they had succeeded in saving the life of this majestic predator. Kevin stood nearby, feeling a mix of sadness at saying goodbye and joy, knowing that Ozzy had fully recovered and was returning home. The story of Ozzy, who survived against all odds thanks to the selfless efforts of compassionate people, spread worldwide. It touched countless hearts, becoming a powerful symbol of kindness, dedication, and the noble mission of preserving wildlife. What an incredible story! If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment below. See you in the next video.